Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel. The Witchy Goth here, hope you're doing well. Today's video is to do with the flag shaggers that are going around at the moment, not from a racist or fascist point of view, but from a feminist point of view. Something that I think a lot of women, if not all women out there, will relate to. I just want to say, first of all, I do apologise for not creating any content recently. I have been away at festivals and camps, and the last week or so I've not been feeling too well. I am getting better now. And I was going to record over the weekend, which I still am going to do, but I had to come and do this video today because I am so angry about this. And I think the ladies will understand. So here in the United Kingdom at the moment, there's a growing movement towards the right, towards fascism, that is being incensed by the likes of Nigel Farage, that has decided that there's too much crime in the country and the crime is being committed by the asylum seekers. He calls them illegal immigrants. So there is a movement at the moment it's a grassroots movement to paint roundabouts and with the St. George's Cross, as well as putting up St. George's Cross flags on street poles and so on. It's in an act of defiance, if you will. It's nationalism, and they're claiming it's patriotism, but it's not. It is nationalism. It is men saying, protect our women and girls. Now, what happened recently, a migrant that was staying at a hotel, which is basically the hotels are no longer hotels. They have been converted to housing for asylum seekers while they await the claims to be processed. And these are people who arrive in the United Kingdom without any passport. They arrive on British soil and claim asylum. That is an internationally recognised law, that if you need asylum, you can go to the country of your choice and claim asylum there without any passport, without documentation. You are fleeing from war, you are fleeing from some sort of persecution in your own country. And what has been happening is so many of the fascist community, the right-wing community, those who vote for Reform UK, are being manipulated to believe that these migrants are committing crimes. Now, there was a few weeks ago a man who was arrested for allegedly trying to kiss a 14-year-old girl. This is alleged. It's not being proven in court as yet. So what happened was a load of white British nationalists arrived outside this hotel, the Bell Hotel in Epping, to protest. And their mantra is "Save our women and girls." However, I do believe that 40% of the men that were protesting in that crowd had previous for sexual offences. So it's a bit of a hypocritical stance. They want to protect our women and girls, that's British women and girls, white women and girls, from so-called illegal immigrants, as they call them, and yet they are not protecting British women and girls. And I see it as them trying to justify their own actions by blaming other people. However, a newspaper article from the Manchester Evening News came up on my feed this morning, and I just read it, and I expected this. I did expect this. I'm not surprised by it at all. So, men accused of harassing women while putting up Union Jack flags in city centre, and this is in Manchester city centre. And it's by James Holt, senior live and breaking news reporter. It is from sorry, I've just had a pop-up on my screen, from yesterday's date, 28th of August 2025. Today's the 29th. And the article goes, police have received reports of men harassing women while putting up Union Jack flags in Manchester city centre on Wednesday, August the 27th. Videos posted on social media showed men tying a Union Jack to scaffolding on Market Street, with more than a dozen UK and England flags spotted around Piccadilly Gardens on Thursday, August 28th morning. In recent days, grassroots Operation Raise the Colours has seen members of the public attach Union Jacks or St George's flags to street furniture across the country. Roundabouts and white walls have also been daubed in red in paint emulating the St George's flag across the UK, prompting councils to issue warnings over the issue in Greater Manchester. Oldham Council issued a similar statement warning residents not to paint mini roundabouts. The flags in the city centre that were put up overnight will not be removed by the council, providing that they do not present a safety concern, and putting them up has not caused criminal damage. But on Wednesday, police received reports about women and families being harassed by a group of men, some in balaclavas, that were seen putting up flags on Market Street. One woman, who will remain anonymous, said she was forced to take a detour home after a derogatory comment was made towards her. She later reported the incident to Greater Manchester Police. She told the Manchester Evening News, "I was going to Superdrug and minding my business and noticed there were two groups on either side of the street with ladders. One was putting up a flag on a lamppost. As I walked past, one of them shouted, 'Oh my God, look at her tits,' while staring at me. I reported it because it felt like they were trying to start something and get my attention. I reported it to the police, who said they had similar complaints about the same group of people. I was just trying to keep my head down. Then they began verbally harassing an Asian family behind me who had young kids. I was trying to pretend I didn't hear them and had to go into the Arndale at a shopping centre and take a longer route home. It's likely they are using the flag to represent divisiveness. It should be one that represents the country we live in and where everyone can feel patriotic. As a woman, it makes me not want to go into the city centre and anxious and unsafe, and that I should change my behaviour." Police confirmed they had received reports regarding comments made by a group on Market Street. It's understood that these were reported to have been derogatory against a number of women. A Force spokesperson said, "We have received reports regarding comments made by a group of men on Market Street, Manchester, at around 7 p.m. last night, 27th of August. Enquiries are ongoing." So, in and of itself, I don't disagree with the flags. I'm British. I don't disagree with the flags. However, the flags are now being weaponized as a racist nationalist standpoint that certain factions of white British men and women do not want any migrants of any colour, and being those of a brown skin, coming into the country. And this has all been, as I said, stirred up by the likes of Nigel Farage, who claims that there's a huge amount of crime from this group of people. Now, that is actually completely untrue. I will attach some statistics into the description box below. I will also attach this article into the description box below. But the fact that these men were outside various hotels where migrant asylum seekers are being housed while their while their claims are being processed. Now, I just want to stress as well that these are no longer hotels. Okay, these are not 4-star hotels. These migrants and asylum seekers are staying in rooms of 2 or more men or boys or children or women, and they are not getting 4-star treatment. Okay, the government has taken over those hotels specifically to house them while their claims are being processed. However, people are under the impression that they get free iPhones and iPads, and they get fed and they get given money and all sorts, and that is just so much misinformation, which I will talk about in another video. The point of this video is that they want to protect our women and girls, and yet they are catcalling them. They are harassing them in the streets. So how can they be wanting to protect our women and girls? By pointing out that a woman has, you know, large breasts, and shouting it out with a derogatory term. That is harassment. That is sexual abuse. That woman felt afraid. And rightly so. I would have felt afraid. If I'd have seen those guys putting up flags, to be honest, I would have turned around and walked the other way. That would have been my immediate reaction. But she obviously had to get somewhere, and they said this to her, and she felt harassed, she was scared, and she had to take a different route home. And then the Asian family that were behind her, that were walking on the street just about their business, were then harassed by the same group of men. And this was women and children. So we don't know if the Asian family were British or not. You know, we do not know that. It doesn't state it in the article. But the fact remains is that these misogynists, because that is what they are not just targeting migrants and asylum seekers, but they are targeting women. And as I said, the vast majority of these men who are putting up these flags and painting roundabouts and painting walls are, and probably have previous for DV, SA, SV and grape. So do they really want to protect our women and children? As I said, I think they are doing this to justify their own behaviour, pointing fingers at people with another skin colour so that they can get away with their behaviour. The vast majority of SADV, SV and grape in this country are committed by white British men. The vast majority of those crimes are committed by somebody who is close to the victim, either a partner, a husband, or a family member or friend. So they are using this as a screen, as a smoke screen, to hide their own behaviour. And it is disgusting. Now, I went and looked at the comments on the post, and I'm going to read some of the comments to you now, because this just, it beggars belief. It actually does beg a belief. And of course, my Facebook doesn't want to come up. Okay, here we go. So I went and looked at some of the replies on this, and my response was not surprised in the slightest. So bear with me while I try and scroll through this, because my computer has decided to stick. Bear with me, guys. Sorry. Oh, this is typical. I get everything ready for my video and I'm not re-recording it, so you're just going to have to wait until this decides to move. Okay, it's not going to move. But some of the comments were such things as, were there witnesses? Is that what really happened? Says somebody who's anonymous. Basically, these comments were from men, and every single one of them was misogynistic in a way. I'm going to link this from Facebook into the description box below as well, so that you can go and read these comments My laptop has decided to, oh, there we go. It's now come up. 3,900 comments on here. So Shazam Groll says, I'm guessing the women approached having a go at him and he told them to jog on. A woman wouldn't do that. A woman would try to avoid that situation because she would be putting herself at risk. So usual suspects again then. In other news, water at room temperature is found to be wet. Anthony Ashbury says, see, men can multitask. Just scrolling through here. Neil Lawson says, just had a wee look and it's definitely one of those stories that never happened. Emma O'Hara says, colour me, not even the slightest bit surprised. Me, not surprised at all. I would expect it. Corner Sampling says, notice how even the women in the comments don't mind because it's a yeet man. The comments I've seen from women are all saying, we are not surprised. Terry Porter says, an anonymous woman complained, ho hum. Bear with me, guys, just scrolling down. Liam Jenkins, and on today's episode of It Never Happened. Tommy Tappenden says, not surprised, just what their type are like, but you know it's okay because they're patriots. So thank you, Tommy, for being on our side. There's some replies to his comment here. Oh, yeah, Alan Arthey says, I know what your type are like. Tommy responds, yeah, I'll admit it, I love picture of fist and water. Yeah. Sorry guys, this is being very slow. So, yeah. Steve Beezer says, what were women doing up the pole? A lot of people are saying that the flag's upside down, which it actually is. Can't be paid that patriotic if they don't know how to fly it, says Jeremy Bryant. John and Diane Kilcourse say, no housework then. Typical misogynistic response. Jimazan Shields says, today's exclusive, Bear filmed defecating in woods and Pope expresses preference for Catholicism. Again, this is all just saying that this is an untruth and that women are lying. Joe Rowland says the women were most likely harassing them, then called the police when someone said something mean to them. Like I said, Joe Rowland. A woman is not going to harass a man if she's on her own. She is not going to, because she knows what may happen. This is the response that women receive when they are making a complaint to the police about being harassed in a misogynistic way by men. This is why women do not report rape and SV and SA and DV. This is why men get away with it. This is why men think they can do it. And these comments just back that up. David Levick says, so the women putting up flags were being harassed. Robert Wilson says they could have ironed them first. Steve Harrison says, and we're supposed to believe every word. All the women are saying, what a surprise. Not. Yeah, Alan Mitten says there's always one. Emma McLaughlin says the irony is lost. And it is, because these men they just don't care. They just don't care. Women to them are property. And if they can abuse and harass and blame men of colour for doing what they do, they feel better about what they do. So yeah, there we have it. There we have it. This grassroots operation is supposed to be patriotism and standing up and protecting our women and girls, but these are the people that actually are the perpetrators of our women and girls. Something needs to be done, because this is just going to get worse. It's not going to get better. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Again, I apologise for not releasing any content over the past few weeks. Like I say, I have been away and I've not been very well. And also one of my cats has been diagnosed with diabetes. And so there's been that I've been dealing with, and various other things that just life, you know, just life stuff. So if you could give the video a like, that would really help with the algorithm. If you could subscribe, please share the video and put your comments down below as well. Every comment that is made, even if you are a troll, you know, promotes the video in the algorithms of YouTube. Blessed be.